Corn, cattle, and peas? Nebraska farmers look at pulse crops.
Growing pulses in a very low input, almost like just planting and harvest.
Ahead on Grow, why some see a bright future for these crops as part of the rotation. Plus, the legislature kicks off. We'll see why some are optimistic for tax relief. Plus, the buzz on Nebraska bees. It's time to grow. The deck may be stacked against them, but rural lawmakers may have some cards to play in the fight for tax relief. We have more from the legislature as we kick off Grow. A senator's daughter spins, taking in a view of the Capitol Rotunda, but it's farmers who may feel dizzy from their property tax bill.
There's farmers that are hurting right now. Every property owner in Nebraska is hurting right now because the system does not favor them. And we need to look at how we're funding schools because that's at the base of the property tax issue.
Senator Dan Hughes, himself a farmer, says it's not just agriculture.
We are hearing a lot from the homeowners in the urban areas that their property taxes have shot up as well.
Hughes says senators from central and western Nebraska will need urban support if they're going to take action on taxes. And here's how they might get it. Conservatives in Lincoln and Omaha want to continue funding for business incentives that are set to expire, while progressives want to fully fund Medicaid. Hughes thinks they can support each other.
We do have some leverage. I think there's some room for compromise on all three of those issues, that maybe we can come together and kind of tie all three of those things together and get enough votes, get the 33.
33 votes to break a filibuster, because that's what it may come down to. Plus an understanding they'll have to get money somewhere, like eliminating sales tax exemptions.
If we're going to have some type of property tax relief, which is a huge burden on agriculture, we're going to have additional revenue sources.
Expect more twists and turns as lawmakers have until June to do something. And there's another option with a proposal to put tax relief on the 2020 ballot for voters to decide. Now, a closer look at that proposal. Senator Steve Erdman is the sponsor. Basically, whatever you pay in property taxes, 35% would be credited back on your income taxes starting in 2021. It would be on the November 2020 general election ballot. An effort to get this on the 2018 ballot, as you may recall, stalled. And now, results of our poll question. We wanted to know, how likely do you think it is the legislature will do something meaningful to address property taxes this year? And well, you guys are not very optimistic. About 85% of people saying it's not likely to happen this year. And a senator with a farm background is chosen to lead the Natural Resources Committee, dealing with those important water and resource issues.
It does fit very well for me being a farmer. Water, soil, energy, a lot of the different things that fit into agriculture do overlap with natural resources, and we want to be a good steward of the land. The environmental issues, those are things that are under my committee's jurisdiction. So those are things that we will deal with and take input from the committee and try to make the best decisions we can.
If it comes from plants, a lab, or insects, is it meat? Senator Carol Blood of Bellevue introduced a measure in the legislature that would define meat. It would exclude plant-based products as well as lab-created alternatives. Insect products would also be prohibited from being labeled meat. Senator Blood said in her view, meat comes from livestock, and she said Nebraska needs to protect its biggest industry. Federal authorities have also been struggling with how to regulate these new alternatives. With the longest federal shutdown on record, some see concerns for implementing the Farm Bill. The Center for Rural Affairs calls the shutdown's length and timing concerning. They say it's put the new Farm Bill on hold, shutting down services like farm loans and payments and rural development loans and grants. Policy manager Anna Johnson says, quote, legislators spent the better part of 2018 negotiating a new Farm Bill. While not perfect, it offers a great deal of certainty for farmers, ranchers, and rural communities for the next 5 years, end quote. Johnson says the shutdown comes at one of the busiest times at the USDA. As she said, investigations into fraud in egg businesses have also been put on hold. And with Farm Service Agency offices closed, the USDA has extended the deadline for farmers hurt by the trade war to apply for funds. U.S. Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue extended the deadline for producers to apply for payments under the Market Facilitation Program. The original deadline was set for January 15th, but farmers have been unable to apply for the program since the federal shutdown caused FSA offices to close on December 28th. Following talks in Beijing, trade negotiators say China has agreed to buy more U.S. egg products. A delegation from the United States was in China this week, led by Deputy U.S. Trade Representative Jeffrey Garish. The meeting came as a result of the deal between President Donald Trump and the Chinese president to take a 90-day break from enacting new tariffs. Trade is a big issue as the Nebraska Corn Growers Association chooses its leaders.
Dan Nayrud of Dorchester was elected president, while a couple of local growers will serve as officers. Andy Jobman of Gothenburg as vice president, and Chris Grams of Upland as secretary. At-large members were also chosen for the board. They are Rick Ruber of York and Michael Dibburn of Caro.
The new year brings changes for farm trailers in Nebraska.
Starting January 1st, you now will be asked to include the VIN number of utility and farm trailers when registering for the first time or when renewing your registration. If the trailer doesn't have a VIN, you need to visit your county treasurer to assign one. The Department of Motor Vehicles says in 2017 there were 184,770 utility and 81,784 farm trailers registered in Nebraska. Existing utility and farm trailer owners do not need to do anything until their trailer registration is renewed, and at that time they can renew their trailer as normal and include the trailer VIN number to ensure it is properly registered.
Next, a look at why some think pulse crops are the future, and later we've got the buzz on how bees from Nebraska play a role in California agriculture.
Hi, my name is Mason Yonda, and you're watching Grow on NTV.